How's it going, Steve? My name is Axel, and
Axel
also
Mansour?
Yes.
There you go. See, I know him. Music and business site, right?
Yeah. Also, shout out to all the other Trojans in the room.
Oh, another Trojan here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right.
Fight on.
Fight on, indeed. So I read an interesting article today. It was basically about the band Grizzly Bear. And just, despite the fact that they have, sold a bunch of records, they're in magazines, they have music videos, sort of the whole idea of being a big band, that they still don't still make a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And sadly, that is the reality for a lot of bands that have that. Being in a magazine doesn't mean you made a lot of money.
No, they don't pay for putting you in a magazine.
Right, exactly. And so you were just talking about sort of taking things to the next level, right? And so I guess my question is, even though there's this increasingly big indie movement, is it still possible to make money without like the support of a major label, without major radio airplay? And even then, you said record labels sort of swindle their artists out of money.
I don't want to say swindle. Let me clarify that in case there's any record company guys that'll be sending me a freaking email. The standard industry record contract is not designed to pay you royalties. They say that, but they take it all back with deductions and so forth, and it's called standard industry practice, and it's not a surprise. They don't pull it out and go, oh, I didn't show you that. It's all in there, right? But when you're trying to get signed to a record deal, most artists I've met would sell their soul to get on a record label, right? Just want to make a record, right? And that's why I say, think about the money, folks. Don't get lost in the moment, right? So can a band that's not on a major have a hit record? The Lumineers are having a hit record right now, right? I don't know if they're going to sell 10 million copies, but they're making some success. What they have behind them is some money that's paying for radio promotion. It's not a major label, but it's just money. If I went out and hired an indie to go work my records, and let's say it costs 50 grand, they'll take my money just like they take Sony's money, right? So for the people that are doing marketing, that are putting those records in stores so that people can buy it, they're putting them on in all these digital outlets where people can buy it. The labels, a lot of times, are farming out those services. It's just somebody writing a check, and you're hoping that you're writing checks to people that can actually help you, right? The greatest radio promotion person in the world can't make a hit record. They can make sure that it gets heard, and then it's got to react. And that's still, no matter how you cut the mustard, there's no science to it. It's not a checklist that you can check off, and I did all these things, Steve, now I should have a hit record. Well, it doesn't work like that, It sometimes seems like heaven sent when it happens. So, yes, I think you could have a hit record and it not be a major label, but you need to have the money once something starts to happen to put it at the mainstream level where you sell millions of records. That is still a very expensive proposition, and one that the major labels are much more experienced at and have a higher capacity to deal with all the money issues in the structure, the infrastructure, having the people to do it. It's not impossible. A band like Radiohead, bands like Incubus, who are now free and clear from a major label. People ask me, well, I bet you're not going to sign with a major. You just want to be indie. Well, no, the truth of the matter is I'm going to do the best thing we can, and I wouldn't rule out a major label, but I wouldn't rule out us doing it on our own either. Neither one guarantees success. What gives you the best chance for success is having some great music to start with, right? And but then it's luck of the draw. That's what I say. This business is tough, folks. It really is. Now I'm losing my head here. So there's no easy answer to it, and I know everybody wants an easy answer. You're in college and you think it should be nice and tidy, and come on, I'm paying all this freaking money. Tell me something I can use, dude. I wish it were true, but you just do the best you can, and then you got to hope that the lightning hits in the bottle. I mean, that's the freaking truth of it. Anybody that tells you, I know it's a hit, they're typically rewriting history after the fact to the ending they already know, not sitting here at square one. And when you didn't hear me say, I saw Incubus on day one, and I knew they were going to be big. I had a feeling that there was something going on, but if they'd whiffed on it, they would have joined a long, long list of bands that I thought, fuck, I thought something was going to, geez, I can't believe they didn't have a hit record. Or conversely, look at some artists and go, how the hell did they ever have a hit record? right?